Good afternoon. This is Media Center Ukraine Odesa, and we continue today. At 1 p.m. We were supposed to have the briefing of the director of the Department of Agrarian Policy of the Odesa Regional Administration. But at night, we learned that Alla Stoyanova decided to leave her job. But the briefing will take place because Alla Stoyanova is now at our media center. Good afternoon, and now we could introduce you as the member of the Odesa Regional Council and the head of the group Agrarian Odesa. And of course, I cannot but ask you about your decision to leave the job. Why have you decided to do that? This is my personal wish, and this is related to my activities that I would like to continue. This is all my life. I was born in that, and I have been working in this sector for 25 years. And for me to be able to implement the projects, I believe, are very important for the Odesa region. To make changes, I decided to leave my job. So this is a balanced decision. Yes, this is my decision. Have your application been signed by Mr. Keeper? I don't know, because actually I sent my application yesterday, and I have like 2 weeks. And you came to us to cover the topic that was announced before. And as far as I understand, that would be a short report about the work done since 2021. You've been on this position for 2 years. This information will not be related to my 2-year experience at the department. It will be related to my civil position, deputy activity, and to the work of our agrarian group in the Odesa Regional Council. And the information I will share with you is the result of the work of my team. Land is the main national wealth, which is under the special protection of the state. And this is according to the main state document. Article 14 of the Constitution of Ukraine develops the principal provisions enshrined in Article 13 of the Basic Law. It defines the structure of land legislation and establishes the basic principles to regulate land relations in modern conditions. It also defines the legal framework for one of the most important natural resources, land, which is recognized as the main national wealth under special state protection. Of course, the war has changed forever the course of the history of our country, and settlement of land relations in today's conditions, of course, plays an important role. And this is a question not only of the agrarian sector, but also the question of the entire country as a whole. Our country is endowed with the largest areas of agricultural land and the most fertile soils in Europe and the world. Of the country's total territory, which is 60 million hectares, agricultural land makes 42.7 million hectares, including 33 million hectares of land, arable land, compared to other countries like Germany, that has 12 million hectares, Poland 11 million hectares, or France 18 million hectares. Why I'm talking about this now? We have the big acreage of arable land, but the efficiency of agrarian activity of Ukraine is only the small part of the capacity of other countries. And if we come back to Poland, then if we add the added value of agricultural products for 1 hectare, then in Poland, if we just convey it in dollars, is $792. In Ukraine, $355. In Germany, this is $1,500. We cannot hear Brazil which also $300. And so we can say that we have a significant capacity for further development. But we need to implement reforms to preserve soils, melioration reforms. We need to change the technologies of production and also to develop technologies to preserve our capacity to improve our mortgage indicators. And the moratorium on the sale purchase of agricultural land combined was very important when it comes to attractive investment. We nowadays have the official land market that became operational as of the 1st July 2021. And that was a revolutionary step because until that moment, Ukraine remained the only country in Europe that had no open land market. The land market was opened 27 months ago, and during 20 months it was operative in conditions of full-scale war. But the market did not stop buying, selling, renting. All this happens on a constant pace, is generating income for the both countries' budgets and landowners. According to official information, and this period, more than 216 purchase and sale agreements on a total area of more than 400,000 hectares were concluded. And for Odesa, it's only 5,700 agreements for the total area of 16,000 hectares. At the same time, from the 24th of February to June 2022, the market actually did not work due to the closure of the registers. For the entire period of operation of land market since July 2021, the most shares have been sold in Kharkiv region, 49,000, and Dnipropetrovsk region, 46,000 hectares. This is statistics. Let us come back to the Odesa region because we don't have much time. I understand that you have a big report, but could we focus more on Odesa region? I just want to compare the situation with Odesa region because in the Odesa region we have only 1/3 of the agreements compared to other areas, and 1 hectare has an average price of 38,000 hryvnias or $900 in the Odesa region. This is because of the droughts and not that favorable climatic conditions. So we have the same quality of soils, but because of the climate changes, we have such a big difference. And only through comparison, we can understand the importance of Odesa indicators. Because when in the south, this is 34,000 hryvnias. But for example, in Ivano-Frankivsk, this amount is more than 100,000 hryvnias, and you can see the significant difference. As for land assessment, and I would like to inform you that on the 13th of October, the government of Ukraine agreed to the proposal of the Ministry of Agrarian Policy and Food and the State Service of Geodesy, Cartography and Cadastre regarding the implementation of a pilot project on mass land assessment. We have the procedure for the implementation of the pilot project approved, and this year, for the first time, the new tax burden has been introduced for both legal and natural entities. And now there is the difference between legal and natural persons, because the monetary assessment is different, and the state taxation service, the Odesa region, has different information when it comes to monetary assessment. And the offered project will be implemented during 11 months. And the lack of the systems made it more difficult to ensure activities related to calculation of the taxation burden. And we have such examples for all 91 communities because there is the minimum taxical burden is put on the shoulders of the natural entities, despite the fact that legal persons pay for that. As for geospatial data, the national infrastructure of geospatial data has been created. And as of today, almost 3,000 users have been registered on the portal. When it comes to territorial communities that have been registered, this is among 732. Among the top 5 oblasts, Odesa in the second place after Vinnytsia. After Odessa, there are Karpatia, Poltava, and Zhytomyr oblasts. And this national infrastructure of geospatial data system is the evolution of cadastre development. It is important for the state authorities, local governments, state institutions, and enterprise organizations to develop their own geoportals and services. Out of 42 million of agricultural lands, around 25% are in shadow now, and the Odesa is not an exclusion. And according to our calculations, around 20% of lands in the oblast are in shadow. It is not registered. There are no cadastral numbers, and this is not the part of cadastral system. So digitalization is the only solution to this problem. When it comes to state lands, there is also a very important decision. The Verkhovna Rada adopted the draft law on amendments of certain legislative acts of Ukraine on increasing the efficiency of land. We're limited in time because there are only 6 minutes left, because we will not be able to complete on time. And this is a very important topic because when it comes to rent payments, everything is done through Prozora Продажи auctions. But I would like to learn more about what you have been able to achieve for 2 years of your work. But today I'm not talking representing the job, but as the deputy. But you're still on the position of the director of the department for up to 2 weeks. But today I'm discussing the issues that have been developed with our regional working group, and we were involved in the meetings. And so we met with the representatives of the agrarian sectors, communities, and together with the NGOs to develop such solutions. And the state lands is a very important question. We have more than 50,000, and we used to have 1%, but now everything is done through Prozora system, and the land list will be paid to the state budget at 12%. And also a lot has been done to achieve that, and this is the part of our work. But could you tell us more about the export of grain? Because it's like on a pause now. We can also discuss with you the exports of grain, but the announced topic is land issues. But Odessa residents are interested in the supply of grain, and okay, you can ask me about this. As for the export of grain in our region, it has been gradually increasing thanks to the measures taken at the national level. This is a general answer, but could you provide any numbers, any statistics? Since 18th of July, there have been no grain deal anymore. The infrastructure, especially when it comes to the Danube River ports, has been damaged a lot. We have more than 120 facilities that have been destroyed because of the shelling. And as a result, 21 agrarian enterprises have been damaged or ruined. Of course, this has a negative impact on the export of our state, unfortunately. and there is no access to big water. And the capacity of the Danube River ports, when it comes to export, is from 2.53 million tons of grain per month. When the shelling intensified, the export fell down to 1.5 million tons per month. But I would like to say that despite these events, the agrarian sector and the agrarians and the owners of port infrastructure, after all these shellings, were able to adapt quickly. And we're not going to stop here. The country understands, everyone understands that Ukraine is an agrarian country, and also 50% of the foreign currency that gets Ukraine is through agrarian sector. So to achieve that, the decisions are made, including at the state level. For example, the draft law has been registered to regulate and to add additional possibilities for customs control for exporters, We have such a problem that in the Ukrainian legislation there is a gap allowing some exporters not to bring back the foreign currency to Ukraine. To solve these issues, we need to introduce mechanisms and to support those exporters who bring back the foreign currency to Ukraine. But to make this mechanism operational, I believe that all these enterprises, all these companies should be taxpayers. They should have a certificate, a license, and also to pay VAT. Such draft law has been registered at the Verkhovna Rada. And there are a lot of information, including the recent even the decrease of the period when foreign currency can be brought to Ukraine. It used to be 180 days, and it will be shortened to 90 days. But this will allow Ukraine to ensure more quick turnover of foreign currency. I can't say when the draft law will be adopted, because it should be discussed with all associations. And for us to be able to make a decision, we need to have more time. And there is now the discussion of the regulation to regulate these relations. And which is most important here is it will be all transparent through the state agrarian register. For the exporter to be registered to the state, should be able to work, should be registered at the state agrarian register, where they should prove their status of VAT payer. And we should take measures if exporters cannot on time return foreign revenue to Ukraine. There will be 90 days. If there are violations and there is a proposal, the exporter will have to receive licenses. Thank you. Unfortunately, the time is out. Could you tell us who could be the head of the Department of Agrarian Policy? Perhaps you want to recommend someone. At the moment, I do not know who will just get this job. And has Mr. Keeper signed your application? No, I don't know if it has been done. Are there any preconditions for you to stay on the job? No, this is a final decision. I has already made it, and the process had been started. Where there was no one put pressure on you? No. And thank you for joining our media center today. And this is all for today. Thank you.